United States Highway 322. Oh boy. Without any separation, US 322 is the longest 3-digit US highway in Pennsylvania. It goes from the northwest of the state to the southeast of the state. Here is a look at our map. As you can see, US 322 in Pennsylvania takes a northwest-southeast route, as mentioned, from a little place called Pymatuning South down to Chester before it crosses into New Jersey. Let's see how short of a time it takes for me to cover this whole route in both directions. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. This is the Xavier456, and you are watching Shaming PENNDOT, with new videos out on this series every week. If you like this kind of content, please go ahead and give us a like, and if you really like the content I make, please hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And here is my weekly reminder that you can request your exit or intersection down in the comments below. Next week, we'll be looking at US 422, both the western split and the eastern split. Alright, without further ado, let's talk about eastbound, US 322 in Pennsylvania. And once again, no welcome sign, but we do get Crawford County and West Shenango Township. Sorry you can't read these, as this street view has trees that cover up the signs. Our first intersection is with PA 58, and we can see that Greenville is signed eastbound for it. And we now get Conneaut Lake. I don't know about that one. Kinda discussed Conneaut Lake in the US 6 video. But when we get a mileage sign, of course, why wouldn't Meadville be on this sign? Meadville is pretty significant, and well enough to be a bottom line. Here we're meeting PA 18 northbound, and we can see it's getting control cities of Conneautville and Girard. Girard is fine to be there, as US 19 or I-79 would direct you to Erie. Here we are at this roundabout once again, and we can see overhead signs for each highway. We can also see a direction sign for Fairview for PA 98 and Mercer for South 19. That is so-so, but it's okay. We once again meet I-79 for Erie and Pittsburgh. Beautiful control cities, beautiful scenery. Before we completely get into Meadville, US 322 splits off US 6 and US 19 via this ramp. Well, it's probably the easier way, but Google Maps states that US 322 turns right up at that stoplight to the left. And we're gonna be making 2 right turns. Once we leave Meadville, we get this mileage sign with Cochranton 9 miles away and Franklin at 24. Well done, I like it. In Franklin, US 322 meets with PA 417. We don't get any control cities for it, but I just thought I wanted to show it. We also meet with PA 8 and US 62, and we've seen this before. This is where US 322 splits off of North US 62 and PA 8. They will be turning left and we'll be continuing straight. Then once we leave Franklin, we get this mileage sign with only Clarion on it. From what I have heard, Clarion is the right choice. Here we're meeting PA 66 just before we enter Clarion, and we can see it's signed southbound for New Bethlehem, that's a secondary, and Kittening. That's fine, but where is your northbound control city? You could have something like Leaper on there. But as we enter Clarion and we can see the county courthouse to the left, we can see another direction sign that does say Leaper. But that's for a highway that is not actually a state route. And to the right is PA 68, which is signed for East Brady. Dude, there are other towns between here and East Brady that actually have intersections with other highways, so sign one of those. Here is another mileage sign as we leave Clarion, and we can see Strattonville is on our top line and Brookville is on the bottom line. That could work. Take your Du Bois and Sharon elsewhere. And in fact, off at the exit of I-80 for US 322, all it's signed for is Strattonville. Why don't you have anything else on there? Here we are in Brookville, and we actually had to climb down a hill just to enter the downtown, which is cool. And this is what it looks like. And here we get another mileage sign. Reynoldsville is on our top line, but we have Clearfield on the bottom line at 39. I'll get to that in a minute. Here we are meeting US 119, and it is getting signage for Du Bois, only 3 miles away, and Punxsutawney. So we meet with US 219, northbound. It is also getting Du Bois signage 3 miles away. And now East 322 and South 219 are going to have a little concurrency. And yet, as we saw in the US 219 video, US 219 now gets Kerwinsville as it splits off. Nope, that should not be there. They're only in favor of a state highway. No, just go with Ebensburg, like you had it on before. On our next mileage sign, Clearfield still holds up on the bottom line, and it is 17 miles away, with Rockton at 4. And then, once we leave Rockton, Phillipsburg becomes our bottom line signed underneath Clearfield. And that's not really good. I don't think Phillipsburg should be signed. Our bottom line after Du Bois should have been State College. Here, US 322 and PA 153 will be having a concurrency until we get to Clearfield, and we can see a green sign for Clearfield right up there. With this mileage sign, they're really only in favor of US 322, but we get the same stuff as before. Again, Phillipsburg I don't think should be a bottom line at all, it should be State College. Here in Clearfield, PA 153 splits off of us and goes southbound towards Curwensville. That's really only there because of PA 879, and it's signed south for Houtsdale. Or is it Houtsdale? Help me out with that one, please. And now we're still signed for Phillipsburg. Why? We now have an intersection with PA 879, and it is signed eastbound for Carhouse and westbound for Curwensville, as was mentioned on that previous slide. But then when we get a mileage sign, Phillipsburg is still on the bottom line with Woodland on the top at 4. Okay, that is absolutely ridiculous. State College. And then in Phillipsburg, what else would we get other than Port Matilda? And we do also get State College, finally, at 24. And we also get this east sign. East what? Why won't you tell me what this east belongs to? Here on US 322, we have a one-way exit for connection to I-99 and 220 southbound for Altoona and Port Matilda because of the road that will take you into Port Matilda that you go straight. And we are signed for State College on this 3-road concurrency. So, because I already did a video on US 220, I skipped ahead to where US 322 splits off, and we're signed for State College, just trying to loop you back via PA 26 and Lewistown. Now, after thinking a bit, Lewistown actually seems so-so going eastbound. Sure, it meets the parent route and another child route, but I'm not exactly certain, because you could go Harrisburg, but then again, there are different directions you can go from Lewistown. And as I've stated, this is the only reason that we put State College on that previous sign. PA 26, it'll take you back into the city. And this exit was requested by Quartermatch 437, who, again, had to keep his requests constrained for this video, as US 322 is also a really important road to him. And we still get 322 East Lewistown. Here we meet with PA 144, also requested by Quartermatch 437, and this is actually an upgrade. This exit was made full freeway a few years ago, and it represents an important step in upgrading the State College to Harrisburg corridor, all of which should hopefully be 4 lanes within the next decade. On this mileage sign, Milroy is our top line and Lewistown is our bottom line, which I guess could be okay, as I've stated. Here is the exit to Burnham and Yeagertown, also a Quartermatch request. And with this one, he often gets off here when he's passing through the Lewistown area, because there's a lot of food options off of it. Or, if he goes westbound, he normally takes the exit to Electric Avenue. So yeah, good memories. And now, we come to the 22 fest of the video. US 22, 322, and 522 are assigned for Harrisburg. You could also throw Selinsgrove on there. And we also get West 22 and South 522 on a concurrency to Mount Union. Now for this concurrency with US 22, please refer back to my US 22 video for a little bit more information and some other requests. Now as we get to the Harrisburg area, US 22 and 322 actually go separate ways. Here we meet with I-81 with the abysmal control cities of Carlisle and Hazleton. Nope, Roanoke and Scranton. And we also get our signage for East 322 Hershey, and that's fine, because that's because of 422 Eastern Split. And we also get information for 2I-83, but there's no control city on there. US 22 and PA 230 are signed for Harrisburg. And look at the condensed font. Are you secretly Georgia? Here's where we leave I-81, which also gets signage for 2I-78, Hazleton, Allentown, nope, Scranton in New York City. And now East 322 joins South 83 at its beginning, and we also get signage for the Pennsylvania Turnpike, and we're signed for Hershey and York. Baltimore. Here's where US 322 leaves I-83, and it is signed for Hershey, and there is a slap-on text saying Eisenhower Boulevard that used to say Dairy Street and Paxton Streets, and 83 South is signed for Harrisburg and York. Well, it takes you back into the town, but if you're having two, that should say York and Baltimore. And we also get a ramp for South 283 to I-76, HBG International Airport, and Lancaster. Awesome putting Lancaster on there, that is for PA 283. Alright, here is one more exit requested by Quartermach 437. He has quite fond memories of this exit. Here's the beginning of the eastern split of US 422, which takes you into the town of Hershey, and is also signed for Palmyra. No, I think that should say Lebanon. And US 322 East is getting Ephrata. And up ahead, you can also get an exit to PA 39 westbound, which takes you to Hershey Park. Here on this mileage sign, we get Campbelltown at 5 miles and Ephrata at 30 on the bottom line. Well, I guess that could be okay. US 322 does not have a connection with the turnpike at all, but South PA 72 is going to lead you to the turnpike, and it is also signed for Lancaster, which is just what it should be signed for. Here is what downtown Ephrata looks like, and here is where we meet with US 222, and it gets south for Lancaster as well as PA 72 was, and it is signed northbound for Reading, with additional information for the turnpike. Okay, PENNDOT, what is this mess of a mileage sign? Hinkletown, Blue Ball, and Honeybrook. What are these towns? No! You gotta have something else on there. And once we get into Blue Ball, Downingtown becomes our bottom line, with Honeybrook now on the top line. Well, I guess that could be understandable. When Philadelphia exists, Downingtown's literally the western edge of the metro area, so you should start signing Philadelphia, my friend. Here in Downingtown, we are meeting with US 30, getting its absolutely ridiculous stuff. Coatesville, nope, Lancaster, that's what that should be. And Exton, absolutely not, that should be Philly. And side note, East US 322 is not turning at all. This is US 30 turning. US 322 is continuing straight. Get it right, PENNDOT. On this direction sign, before we get to US 202, we can see a straight up arrow for Westchester, which is the road that'll take you in there. And we get signage for Wilmington and Chester. Wilmington's there for US 202, and that is lovely. And we get Chester for US 322. Chester is the last town we get, but US 1, which we'll be meeting later, still goes to Philly. So keep signing Philly until there. Then you can start signing Chester, in my opinion. Here is our ramp as we merge onto US 202. Here we're meeting PA 3 in Westchester, and we only get a control city of Newtown Square. That is only for going eastbound. If you were going to go westbound, you would go into Westchester. And now we meet with US 1 as US 202 splits off to continue straight to Wilmington. And again, we get Kennett Square going southbound and Concordville going north and east. No, that shouldn't be there. Here is where US 1 North splits off and is going to Media, Philadelphia. And we are going to Chester. And we also get some helpful information for 2 I-95. And here is where we meet PA 261 southbound, and this exit was requested by Chuck Slezak. He got off at this exit, and it's a way back to Wilmington. This road continues as Delaware 261 and ends at US 202, right at I-95. And here is where we get to I-95, and we're going to join up with it. We are signed for Commodore Barry Bridge and Philly. Commodore Barry Bridge is there for US 322, and Philly is there for 95, and that is great. Here, US 322 eastbound exits from I-95, and we get signage for 2 PA 291, and Commodore Barry Bridge and New Jersey. Because what else would we sign other than the next state? Pennsylvania and New Jersey hate each other. In fact, when we look on US 13, which we saw quite a while back, we got 322 East Commodore Barry Bridge and Bridgeport, New Jersey. No, that is the first neighborhood upon entering New Jersey. If you want to sign a town, go with Glassboro, as I've stated. Here we cross the Commodore Barry Bridge into New Jersey, and we don't get a welcome sign. All we get is Delaware River and this digital speed limit sign, where it says 25 here in this image. And now let's turn around and talk about westbound, US 322 in Pennsylvania. Before we pay our toll and enter Pennsylvania, we start in New Jersey, and we can see 322 West is signed for Commodore Barry Bridge and Pennsylvania. It's the same thing, obviously. And 322 westbound in New Jersey should always get Philadelphia. You hear me? Here we cross the Commodore Barry Bridge into Pennsylvania, and it's exactly the same as it was going eastbound. And to the right, we can get a distant view of the Philly skyline. Here we meet with I-95, and we can see South 95 and West 322 are signed for Wilmington and Westchester, as opposed to Baltimore. And North 95 is also directed to I-476 and their signage for Philadelphia, which is correct. And here, just before US 322 West splits off for Westchester, we have an exit towards Highland Avenue. When we're on this concurrency with I-95, you don't have to do any lane shifting shenanigans. You could just stay in the far right lane and you'll be good. Meeting US 1, which is signed north for Media and south for Kennett Square, West 322 is getting signed for Chadds Ford, along with US 1. Again, that's not right. That is just the town where they split. Put Westchester on there. But here is where US 322 westbound splits off of US 1 southbound, and we meet US 202 signed south for Wilmington, Delaware, and US 1 signed for Kennett Square. And the concurrency here is signed for Westchester. Here in Westchester, still on the US 202 concurrency, we can see a sign on the left telling us that 322 westbound is going to be leaving, and is signed for Downingtown, which I believe is fine. And at this interchange before the split, we meet with PA3 once again, and this time we do get information about something going westbound, which is... Oh my god! Gay streets! Gay streets! Good one, PENNDOT! But anyways, eastbound 3 is getting Newtown Square as we saw going the other way. Alright, here's the actual split of US 202 and westbound 322. We get Downingtown for us, but we get no pull-through for US 202 here, and I don't like that. Well, isn't this one mess of a direction shield? Alternate truck east business US 30. What in the heck, PENNDOT? Why would you do this? How do you expect drivers to read all of this? And then now, heading in this direction, US 30 westbound gets the correct control city of Lancaster. I don't know why I didn't get that when we were going eastbound. Probably because you wouldn't want to loop back to it. There were faster ways there. We meet with US 222, which gets the same information as was before. North to I-76 Reading and South Lancaster, perfect. On PA 272, this sign here makes no sense for US 322 in any way. Brickerville is literally just a tiny little place with an intersection for PA 501, and Lebanon is signed here because of PA 72. They're favoring the state highway instead. Though I do agree with Lebanon, keep that on there, but replace Brickerville with Harrisburg, because that's where US 322 is ultimately going to be going to. Here we meet with PA 72, which is signed south for PA Turnpike and Lancaster. Well done there. And West 322 and North 72 are signed for Hershey and Lebanon. I don't know why you're favoring Hershey there. I know about the attractions, but it's maybe okay. I don't know. Here's the actual split at PA 72, and this exit was requested by Everything Hershey. He told me that Lebanon is pronounced the way it is because of the Pennsylvania Dutch, so thank you for that. West 322 is getting both Harrisburg and Hershey, so I'm glad to see Harrisburg on there. When we get to Hershey and we meet with West PA 39 for Hershey Park, we get 322 West Harrisburg, and that's right. Here's the interchange with South I-283 to I-76 for Harrisburg International Airport, 83 South Harrisburg, probably should be Baltimore here. And North 83 and West 322 are signed to I-81, Carlisle, nope, Roanoke, and State College for 322, and that is something that is great. Here is where I-81 splits with US 322, and North 81 and 78 go to Hazleton and Allentown, Scranton and New York City. We get Carlisle, nope, Roanoke, and State College. Here is where you meet with US 22, and we're going to get onto the westbound ramp. East 22 is signed for Harrisburg and Cameron Street, and the west is signed for Lewistown and State College. And that State College text there isn't actually a recent development. That's been there for quite a long while. Here is our choice of direction. We get East 22 to PA 230 for Harrisburg, and West 22 and 322 for State College. Now, I'm not skipping the concurrency here because there are mileage signs that I haven't showed you in the US 22 video. For example, this one with 3 cities on it. On the top we get Newport at 10 miles. On the second line we get Lewistown at 41, that's the right place to put Lewistown. And State College is our primary at 70, that's well done there. What? PENNDOT, what have you done? Now we get Millerstown on the top line, and now our bottom line is Lewistown. No, 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 no. That should not be on the bottom line. That should be State College, 100%. And in fact, if we look back in 2016, State College was the bottom line. So Pennsylvania is double downing on its bottom line obsession with Lewistown. And then this is also reflected up at another mileage sign with Mifflintown on the top line and Lewistown on the bottom at 22. Still no. State College is what should be signed here. I do not favor Lewistown on the bottom line going westbound at all. As we saw in the US 22 video, 522 North just gets Walnut Street here, and not Selinsgrove. It should always be Selinsgrove going northbound here. Here is the split of US 22 and South 522 for Mount Union, and 322 West is pulled through for State College. At our next mileage sign, we see Milroy on the top line, and State College is the bottom line at 28. It's about time, PENNDOT. But then once we get another mileage sign, State College becomes the top line, and then Phillipsburg is signed on the bottom. And spoilers, but maybe Phillipsburg will eventually have a place on the bottom line for US 322, but it is not right here at all. Phillipsburg is just not big enough to be signed 45 miles away. State College should stay our bottom line, not Phillipsburg. But then, for no rhyme or reason, we get another mileage sign just 3 miles up the road, and State College is back on the bottom line at 19 miles away, with Potter's Millstone on there. This is so weird. Why does it keep changing? So inconsistent. Here's our exit for PA 26 to State College, and we can also get information about I-99 and US 220. And here is our exit for North 99 and 220 to I-80, Bellefonte. No, that should say Williamsport in New York City. And here we don't actually get any information about US 322, it just magically disappeared. Now here's a mileage sign that I didn't actually show in my US 220 video. We got 3 things, which are Port Matilda, Phillipsburg, and Altoona. And just for Cordamonch 437, I'm going to dub this as a rare Pennsylvania W. If you're signing Port Matilda, then it should be on the top line, definitely. Phillipsburg is there for US 322, which we'll be going to, and Altoona is there for I-99 and US 220. Chef's kiss, perfect. Well done, PENNDOT. And here we split from I-99 and US 220, and it's signed for Port Matilda and Altoona, just Altoona please, and 322 West is signed for Phillipsburg, which from this point is what should be signed. Here in Phillipsburg, we meet with PA 504 and PA 50, and we now get signed for Clearfield, which in this direction absolutely makes sense to be signed, because going eastbound, State College dominated over every control city from Du Bois. Here we get this mileage sign with Bigler on the top line and Clearfield at 16 miles. Good. We also get some information about I-80, and that's helpful. After that, we get another mileage sign with Clearfield on the top line for some reason at 6 miles and Luthersburg on the bottom line at 23. Luthersburg is very small, and I know you're only signing it just because of the concurrency with US 219, but at this point we should just be signed for Du Bois. It shouldn't have been on signs just past State College, because it was simply too small to sign from that far away, but at this point Du Bois makes absolutely the most sense to be signed here, not Luthersburg. Here we are in Clearfield, and oh my lord, do we have lots of signage. We meet with PA 153, and they list lots of control cities on both sides of the road. On the left, we can see Curwensville for 153 and 879, and Luthersburg for US 322. We also get information for Du Bois, finally, and Ridgeway, which are for US 219, and that's helpful. On the right side, we get Luthersburg, Du Bois, and Ridgeway, again, and we also get an eastbound control city for 322, which is Phillipsburg. No, that should be State College. But anyway, there's just so much going on here, it's unbelievable. We then get this helpful mileage sign for US 219. Luthersburg is the junction at 16 miles, then we get Du Bois at 19, and Ridgeway at 36. That's helpful for US 219 traffic, but you're kind of neglecting US 322 there. But then 5 miles up, we get another mileage sign, and what do we get? Rockton on the top line and Luthersburg on the bottom line once again. No, Du Bois. Du Bois. You hear me, PENNDOT? Du Bois. Luthersburg has no sense of being a bottom line control city. Here in Rockton, we get a random road splitting for Du Bois, and West 322 is still signed for Luthersburg. Again, Luthersburg has no place of being signed here. If you want to sign something, may as well just go with Brookville. And then we got this mileage sign with Luthersburg finally on the top line, and Brookville being signed on the bottom line. That's better. And then in Luthersburg, here's where we meet with US 219, signed south for Ebensburg, and our concurrency is signed for both Du Bois and Brookville. There's a good sign for you. And here is the split of US 322 and 219 for Brookville and Du Bois. And then we meet with US 119, which is signed for Du Bois again, and Punxsutawney, well done there, and Brookville is still our control city. On our next mileage sign, we get Reynoldsville at 6 miles and Brookville at 18 miles, and that is sensible still. And then after Brookville, we get this mileage sign with Corsica on the top line and Clarion on the bottom line at 15. Corsica has no reason being here. Our bottom line should actually be Franklin, not Clarion. Clarion is not as important as Franklin. And once again, we meet I-80 with the horrible control cities of Sheridan and Du Bois. Now you know what those should be. Cleveland and New York City, as it always should be for I-80. Everything that is signed on I-80 right now should be a secondary above the primaries of Cleveland and New York City. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then, to spread the flames even further, we now get the absolutely atrocious control city that we saw going eastbound. That is now our westbound control city, Strattonville. No! Franklin! Franklin! Franklin is what should be signed here. This should absolutely not be Strattonville. Oh my god, PENNDOT, this interchange is absolutely awful. And not just because of the signage, because of the design of it as well. Like, look at this. As we exit to get onto US 322, you see we have to slow down to 15 miles an hour from 70 miles an hour. Literally a 55 mile an hour change. That is just absurd. This interchange really needs to be reconstructed. And you know what? Put the correct control city on it. How about that? Oh my goodness gracious, let's just move on. And it is only in Clarion that they will finally start signing Franklin here, which should have been signed from Brookville. Here we get a mileage sign reflecting Franklin on the bottom line, also with Shippenville thrown on there for 2 miles away. We're back in Franklin and we meet with PA 8 and US 62, once again with no control cities of course. We're joining the southbound portion of both of those routes, and here is where they split in downtown. We will be turning right to continue on westbound 322. Now we get another mileage sign, and this one is actually old. It has since been replaced, but on every street view that contains the new version, it's all covered up by trees. Cochranton is our top line at 13 miles, and Meadville is on our bottom line at 24. That's well done. Here we meet with US 6 and US 19. We'll be turning left to join westbound 6 and southbound 19. Meeting with I-79, Pittsburgh, Erie, of course. The views aren't as epic this way, but the control cities are still what satisfy me. Coming back to the roundabout, we can see Mercer for US 19 and Fairview for PA 98. But we get no information about US 322 at all. And in fact, if we look on I-79, we can see every US highway is signed for Conneaut Lake. and I'm not sure about that one. But once we've left the roundabout, Conneaut Lake actually becomes our top line, and we get... Cleveland! You put Cleveland on the bottom line at 85 miles away! Like, oh my lord! Pennsylvania! That is absolutely stunning! You've finally done something really good for once! There is absolutely nothing else worth signing in Pennsylvania, and they oblige. They oblige to it and signed something in Ohio, their second largest city. I am so happy to see this. I really hope this sticks. Oh! Past Conneaut Lake, now we get Jamestown and Greenville. Now they're favoring a state route instead of US 322. Really don't know why that is the case. Cleveland just magically disappeared. That is just really sad. And here is the only reason we did sign Greenville. PA 58. It's signed for Greenville here, and Linesville is just another road that goes north. Oh no, now we get a ruined US Highway shield by PENNDOT for West 322, but at least Cleveland is back on the bottom line, and I'm glad they'll stick to it. And Ohio welcomes you, and from this point, I'll leave it to Quartermanch to tell you what Ohio does with US 322. And that's it for this video, and oh lord, we cracked 30 minutes for this video. This marks the longest video of shaming PENNDOT so far. But anyways, next up we got the US 422 eastern and western portions in Pennsylvania. Thanks for watching, I am Xavier, and as always, you are amazing.